Introducing first, fighting out of Brasilia, Brazil, Rani Yahya. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, presenting the former WEC featherweight champion, Mike Brown.
Red trunks for Brown, the former champion. Dark trunks for Rani Yahya.
No question as to the strategy in this fight. Yahya utilizing his kicks, and Mike Brown trying to close the distance and land some bombs. And what Rani Yahya is doing is really right now imitating what Diego Nunez was able to do in the fight with Mike Brown, which is stay on the outside and land kicks. The difference being, of course, Diego Nunez is an outstanding kicker and striker. Oh, big shot by Brown. And Rani Yahya is really more of a grappler.
Brown in attack mode early. Just a couple of weeks ago was his fight back in Las Vegas when the opportunity to fight again, and the call came from Joe Silva. He was anxious to get back in, Joe.
Yeah, he's very happy to jump right back in there, and obviously he's in tremendous shape coming off that camp and a long fight with Nunez.
He said he actually preferred it instead of going back through the long training camp. He said, hey, I just got to stay in fight shape for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he didn't take too much. He took some good body shots in that fight, but not too much damage. And this is what Yahya wants. He shot in for that single. Very nice by Yahya. He's got it on the ground. He's got a hold of his neck. Mike Brown up to his feet again.
Rani Yahya has an incredible
Mike Brown is sneaking his hand on the neck.
Percentage on the ground, Joe, and it's Brown who knows that, trying to avoid being in a bad spot here.
This is not good for Mike Brown. Just anytime Rani Yahya's got a clinch on you, anytime he's got a hold of your body, you're in danger. Mike Brown is slowly trying to work his way back up to his feet, but Yahya is controlling that right leg and keeping it extended by locking his legs out. Notice how he's doing that? Keeping that under his legs, keeping that leg extended.
Yahya, three-time World Jiu-Jitsu champ, 2007 Abu Dhabi World Champion, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brown looking for the neck.
Yeah, Brown has an outstanding guillotine. He's got outstanding submissions, period. It's just that this is not where he wants to be. He doesn't want to be in a submission game with one of the best submission guys in the 145-pound division. He wants to be on his feet. And Rani Yahya knows this is a golden opportunity. He's trying to move to side control here. Mike Brown doing a good job of keeping that butterfly guard in place.
Just punishing the rib cage.
Now Mike Brown on his back in full guard, and Yahya tries to step over, winds up in the butterfly guard though. But now Mike has got an opportunity to stand back up. But he's got to be careful of the guillotine as he does so.
2 minutes.
Arm-in guillotine attempt here by Rani Yahya. I can't see if he has his hands clasped together. It does not look like he does. It looks like Mike Brown is able to separate his hands a bit here, so Yahya is still struggling to get the proper grip. And there you see it. And Mike Brown's got 2-on-1 there, which will allow him to stand back up to his feet. But Yahya is still trying to control that one leg of Mike Brown's, locking it under his legs. Notice his right leg, how he keeps it wrapped around Mike Brown's foot. That's to keep Mike Brown from getting that base under him. And he's holding onto the right leg with his hands. Mike Brown back up to his feet, but Yahya has an opportunity to take his back here. Mike Brown has to be very careful here. Very careful with this position. And Mario Yamasaki warning him to not grab the fence there.
Yahya really applying pressure to Brown here in round one. Elbow.
Good short elbow there by Brown. But again, he's just trying to get back up to his feet. I mean, you see, Mike Brown is an outstanding grappler. You see how good Rani Yahya is, that he's able to keep Mike Brown on the ground. He's almost got his back here, Mike. Mike Brown has to be very careful with this position. If Rani Yahya gets an over-underhook here, Mike, he's going under with the left arm. If he gets over with the right and clasps his hands together, he will have the back. This is a very tricky spot here for Mike Brown. He just looked up at the clock. He wants to make sure he's got some time. And Rani Yahya is also sneaking that right arm higher and higher on the neck of Mike Brown.
20 seconds on the clock.
Look at this. He's basically on his back, Mike. He's basically on his back. If he gets that right arm free, he's on his back. Look at that. He turns, and that right arm's going to come over the top, and he's got both hooks in.
Round one coming to a close here.
He's got his back. There he is.
Here we go. Second round. You ready? You ready? Let's go. Come on.
See if Brown can keep it standing for a little while here at the start of round two.
Yeah, Brown has got to be respecting the grappling ability of Rani Yahya after that first round of being completely controlled on the ground and put in some very dangerous positions. And Rani Yahya trying to keep him off here. Again, trying to utilize the same sort of techniques that Diego Nunez used in his last fight.
Right hand. Yahya with the knee.
And he allows Yahya to get a hold of him. This is where it gets dangerous again. That right arm of Yahya, very, very tricky.
Very creative with his submission attempts.
Yeah, he's basically here in a bad situation. It doesn't look bad for Mike Brown, but it's all about controlling the right arm of Rani Yahya. He's got to hold on to that right hand. Because if he allows him to do this, especially if he allows him to get his hands together, Mike Brown on top.
Yep.
But still, if I was in Mike Brown's corner, I'd be yelling, disengage, get out of there. You don't want to trade grappling and submission attempts with one of the very best in the world. All he has to do is get a hold of your neck for a brief second, and you're in a situation where, you know, you've got a world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and you're fighting off his submissions.
Joe, amazingly, 14 of the 15 career wins in Rani Yahya's MMA career have come by submission.
Well, it's not really that amazing when you see his style. I mean, his stand-up is really kind of rudimentary.
Right.
And all he's trying to do, it's the old Rickson Gracie style of MMA. He's just trying to get you to the ground. His kickboxing is all just to distract you and to fight you off so he can get you on your back.
14 of 15. And obviously, he'd love to add to that total tonight. 3 minutes.
Now Mike Brown on top. And it's very difficult to ground and pound Rani Yahya. Whereas Mike Brown's stand-up, you know, his stand-up and his boxing are really far superior. He's got to be careful getting swept here. Got to be careful getting rolled over. Look at this. Rani Yahya is getting under him, and he sweeps him. Mike Brown back up to his feet.
Yahya on the attack. They clinch.
Yeah, I would be screaming for Mike Brown to disengage if I was in his corner. Disengage. Separate and throw those punches. Don't try to take this guy down. Don't play his game. Anytime you let Rani Yahya grab a hold of your neck, I've talked to so many guys who have trained with this man, and they talk about how deceptive his strength is. He looks like a fairly small guy. He's not, you know, he's not very thickly muscled, doesn't look that strong, but his technique and his years and years and years of squeezing necks has got his technique down so tight.
Brown has trained for many years at American Top Team. There are a ton of great jiu-jitsu practitioners there. Inside leg kick by Yahya.
Yahya really using a lot of the kicks, trying to keep that distance between him and Mike Brown, because Mike Brown really doesn't throw that many kicks. He's really more of a puncher. And especially in this fight, because he doesn't want to be taken down, I don't think he's throwing a kick yet.
Looking for the right hand again. Yahya happy to close the distance.
And the problem with punching now is that they've spent 2 rounds engaged in some really strenuous grappling. So Mike Brown's arms and his shoulder and his back all filled up with blood. It's all very difficult to let those hands go now.
When Yahya decides to strike, oftentimes he gets into a brawl. He's avoided that so far. And as you said, used some kicks to keep Brown at distance.
It really seems a matter of, look how slow Mike Brown's punches are coming. It really seems a matter of him having gassed his arms out, grappling with Rani Yahya and defending against those submissions for 2 rounds.
Brown trying to find his championship form once again. Former WEC featherweight champion. 6-2 in the WEC.
Mike Brown may have an opportunity here for a Darce. If he can sneak his hand all the way through, he's working on it. You know, he's working on that choke that Matt Hughes used on Ricardo Laborio.
10 seconds.
He's working on what we call the Schultz headlock.
Round 2 in the books. 5 minutes on the clock.
Final round, you ready? You ready? Let's go, come on.
3rd round. Right away looking to close the distance.
And he gets it. He gets the clinch, working hard towards the takedown is Rani Yahya. And Mike Brown, in fighting this off, again, this is going to slow down his punches and make it harder for him to impose his game. I mean, so far, Mike, for 2 rounds, Mike Brown has just been fighting off Rani Yahya's takedown attempts and submission attempts. And he's got him on the ground again.
Right in front of his corner. Yahya trying to slide through.
And yeah, he ducked under that very nicely. Arm-in guillotine attempt here if Mike Brown goes over the neck. And Rani Yahya's got double underhooks here, which is not what Mike Brown wants.
Brown, one of the strongest in the division, the UFC featherweight division, but Yahya's done a good job, like you said, deceptively strong.
Yeah, deceptively strong, and a lot of it is just years and years and years of grappling, and his technique is outstanding. Very pure Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Started training at age 10. A constrictor team located in Brasilia, Brazil, the capital city.
And Mike Brown is having such a hard time with the style of Rani Yahya. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen anybody shut Mike Brown like this down in a grappling match for 3 rounds. I mean, the only offense that Mike Brown had was that headlock in the last round as far as his grappling. Now, Rani Yahya is looking for that left arm, looking for a Kimura on the left arm of Mike Brown. And as he holds this position, he's going to get his back here, Mike. He's going to get his back. Mike Brown has to keep his back up against the cage and even roll over onto his own back to keep this guy off of him. This is not good. This is not good at all. This is the last thing Mike Brown wants right now, is this guy on his back.
Trying to get the hooks in, got one.
Yeah, and Mike Brown is trying to fight it off. He's going to try to roll over and wind up on top.
Got another.
He's going to try to spin and wind up in Rani Yahya's guard. He's got to be very, very careful of not letting go of these arms for a second. He can't let one slide under his neck for a second.
Locks the legs.
This would be much more dangerous if it was just straight Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but fortunately for Mike Brown, utilizing these gloves, it makes it more easy to defend. You can hold on to a guy better. And now he's got his back, body triangle in.
Bad spot for Mike Brown.
He's beating on Mike Brown.
Yahya looking to finish. Under 2 now.
Uh-oh, he's going under the neck. It's across the face right now, but he might just crush his face.
Yahya looking for his 15th career submission victory.
And Yahya, like it says on his t-shirt, Team Constrictor. I mean, that is his style of grappling. Once he gets a hold of a position, he will slowly close it off. Again, got that body triangle in place, and that is controlling Mike Brown, keeping him from turning over. Mike Brown's taking a beating here. Mike Brown, 3 rounds in the hole, got to do something drastic.
Yahya in a great position with that body lock.
Yeah, Mario Yamasaki looking at it closely. I think he's going to warn him again or take a point for the back of the head.
Got Brown out of that position.
Wow.
He warned him about the point deduction.
Yeah, you know, it's so hard when the guy's moving around and you're trying to punch him and you've got his back. And again, dives down onto that leg. And Mike Brown's got his back now.
50 seconds.
Mike Brown can hold this spot. And Rani Yahya has half guard here. He's holding onto the leg as Mike Brown holds onto him. Now Brown's in a better spot. If Brown can get his leg free, and he does, now he's got a much, much better position. If he can hold this, clasp his hands together, and control. Oh, Rani Yahya ducks under it. And now Yahya's on top.
15 seconds remain in this fight.
Great fight for Rani Yahya. Terrible fight for Mike Brown.
Putting on display tonight his incredible grappling skills in his UFC debut against the former featherweight champion.
And here we see Rani Yahya just controlling Mike Brown on the back. He gets that over under control and slowly creeps his hooks in. There's the left hook. Then he gets the right hook in. He wasn't able to submit Mike Brown, but really, truly dominated him with position and ground and pound. This is an outstanding performance by Rani Yahya, and really a huge, huge victory for him. Victory here over a former champion like Mike Brown, especially a dominant one like that, really sends a message to a lot of the other featherweights.
Not a bad way to make your UFC debut. Here's Bruce Buffer with the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Rani Yahya.
Victorious.